Hey folks, with us today, Wissam, the founder of Truebase.io. Super happy to have you on.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Let's start with the most important thing. What is Truebase and who is it for?
So Truebase is a new way of prospecting or sales prospecting. So if you're a B2B company today, you're usually building an army of people to really find the new customers. And it's very manual, it's very tedious today to do this, right? So you're spending a lot of time on companies or on tools like LinkedIn, and there's many others like that, where you're just spending time, going through searches, qualifying them on their websites, and looking up for their contact informations, and then writing personalized messages, and then putting them in email automation. So it's very, very time-consuming way to grow your business, right? So usually B2B companies are investing in people who are, usually entry-level, who are just kind of doing this on your behalf, right? If you do the math of how long does it take to really make all that happen, depending on your business, it could be something like $900 per demo booked. Right. So if you do the training, the hiring, the tooling, all of that together. So that's a very inefficient way, not to mention how repetitive and manual this work. So Truebase is basically there's a lot of technology that came to light in the last little bit more than a year ago. Like it surfaced itself like with ChatGPT, so all large language models, and which comes in different shape and form, that enabled a new way of doing prospecting. And that basically comes down to you hand it off to an AI SR, to an AI sales representative, which is Truebase. You train it, right? You spend few hours, maybe few days, and it can do a lot of those repetitive tasks for you to truly put the whole prospecting journey on autopilot. So it's really kind of as simple as you go through an onboarding experience today, and you spend few, hours, minutes, days with the AI. Once you're happy with it, it's to represent your brand, to represent what you're looking for. Just set it and forget it, and you say, I want 100 demos, a month, right? And the AI will do the whole prospecting journey for you. Only when somebody replies interested on your product, a human takes it from there, and they are responsible, or they do what humans do the best, right? Which is closing the deal.
How did you find that idea? I mean, you're a serial founder, so was that like a key issue in your past companies, or like what pushed you into chasing that problem, basically?
Yeah, the short answer is yes, right? I've been 4 times founder so far, and I do advise a few other companies. I've been part of other companies, so I found always myself doing 3 things, right? I'm either looking for new customers, right? So I've been kind of doing that job, or looking to hire new employees or teammates, or to fundraise. And in the 3 tasks that I usually have, I found myself running through this prospecting journey or sourcing journey or fundraising journey, whatever you want to call it, right? And I found it like, oh my God, like this is really time consuming. I'm spending a lot of time doing this, and it's just not working great for me, right? And because I'm a technologist, so I start building a little bit of tools and tinkering with some like automation on top and all that kind of things. And when the stars aligned and the time I was in the right time of my career to make a change, I started exploring with a lot of other people, and I asked, hey, is this really a pain point to you as well? And it was unanimously, be like, yeah, that's exactly what we do. And it's very, time consuming. You'll be like, oh, that's cool automation you built here and there, or script or whatever, right? So that's how Truebase started originally. A year or so in, we started building this product, and then a lot of the technology breakthrough came through, like the large language models. which we've been like in the early betas, and that's where we adopted we stayed true to the problem, but we were flexible with the solution. And that's where we adopted a lot of that capability in our product. And we've been in research and development for a little bit more than a year to really try to get this product out.
If you need to hire the right developers and ship fast, then React Squad is for you. A boutique agency that specializes in React and only works with fast growth startups. Visit reactsquad.io to learn more.
And then how do you as a founder manage having basically like a true AI product? Because AI is moving crazy fast. So how do you manage such a rapidly changing and growing ecosystem?
Yeah, it's definitely it's challenging, but in a good way, right? There's a lot of yes, it's changing, but at this point right now, it's almost like maturing, where there are new models that do the same things better, right, at a cheaper cost. That has been right now more the innovation. If you think of all the use cases that's been laid out, that has been done very early days, right? So you can have a large language models that's trained from on a lot of data that you have an API access to. Great. Okay. Now, how much the model is improving, that's great. And you can bet on that, right? By the way, this is the same thing happened with our, buying a laptop, right? You can guarantee that you can still do your work on a laptop. It will get faster and hopefully cheaper, unless it's Apple, it gets more expensive. So that we can bet on, we can still design, and we can, plan that the things will get cheaper. So some stuff we do today might not be 100% economically feasible, but we know the price is going down because the last 3 releases that happen, and we will expect to be the same. So that's how some of the strategies we use to cope with fast-moving technology.
Makes a ton of sense. And then tell us about the stage of the company right now. Any client numbers, revenue numbers you can share, or just how big the team is?
Yeah, well, we're still in the early days, but we took a little bit a different approach to this, Nicolas. We are well funded, and we are a 10-people team today, and we're growing. We wanted to really, I think as a founder, you always have to understand which market you're operating in, right? And what's the stage of the product. And for us, the bottleneck was not getting more customers or will people use it. We verified that. That's, by the way, the first time in my fourth startup where that was not the bottleneck. Usually it's really easy to build the product, but do people want it? Can we take it to market efficiently? We did few experiments online, and we got quickly so many users that understand really what we're doing really fast. So we quickly verified that's not the bottleneck. The bottleneck for the first time is, for me, it's the product. Can this product really do what you claim it does, right? So it's inside the house. So we basically worked a lot in beta mode or stealth mode, right, with 20 customers to really make sure we nailed down the technology. And we released a product last summer, and we've been working with them since then to be able to produce 100,000 qualified leads, right? So we really kind of worked hard to nail down the tech. And we feel we're getting closer and closer. And now we're opening it up to more and more people as we go. And we're planning a public launch literally next month, where anybody can come and use this and take advantage of the technology. So that's kind of where we're at.
And then how do you already mentioned that the typical challenge of getting customers isn't the challenge right now. Does that mean for you that you're just spending more resources, aka the money you raised, on the engineering team, or very tactically and operationally? What does that translate to?
Yeah, initially the previous phases were fully on R&D. And now, we're kind of starting to 60%, because we're raising again, the R&D is 60% and 40% And obviously, the more we advance and raise, it's going to shift the other way around. The one thing we are also worth mentioning here that a lot of we have chose to build Truebase or to take Truebase to market in a PLG motion, product-led growth, which means people can come and sign up or on their own. We also innovated a lot. We have an AI an AI self-boarding experience. So you can really do a lot more faster. And this was not necessarily available before. So people can really, we don't really need large sales capability or sales teams to really make that happen, which is not very usual when you're selling business products, right? But this is something we know that a lot of the market is changing, especially after a downturn economy, where people are, or salespeople and marketing people want to catch up almost what happened in product and engineering, where the only way to buy products there is self-serve, and you try it and then you land, you expand. Now, same thing is happening on the business side of the house, right? Where they are making 80% of the decisions, of the buying decisions, without even talking to anybody. They're playing with different products, they're narrowing it, they're doing the research. And they actually want to start with the smaller tiers, right? Smaller subscriptions, month to month, and then eventually expand them. That's all new pattern or new way of buying those tools. Where if you think of our competitors that are very large, to play with the product, you need to pay $30,000 a year, right, on a license or something like that. So that pattern is changing, and Truebase is set up to really get you all that value from the early days.
But one question on that, because if I understand it correctly, Truebase is in itself a tool for the revenue team, meaning a sales tool. So where do you see tools like Truebase and the sales motion sitting in that new PLG world? Meaning, are you using Truebase to email potential clients that then book a demo and self-serve? Or take me through that thinking, because you obviously know both worlds and are playing in it, right?
Nicholas, you did cut off for a little bit, but I think I got the question.
Yeah,
where did Truebase fit in the sales process? All right. Okay. Yeah. So Truebase is all about the top of the funnel, right? So to discover new opportunities, right? And what is it that you need to do to make that happen? That's what Truebase focuses on, right? So once you book a demo in the B2B space, at this point, Truebase did the job, and you can take it from there on.
So in a PLG motion, so I would guess that you're using Truebase for yourself as well, basically dogfooding it. So
that's one of the channels.
But you also said that you're PLG. So does the tool then book a demo with a human, like we're calling right now, or is it pushing people onto the self-serve?
Yeah. So because we are PLG, I will say, are we the best customer for Truebase? Is Truebase the best customer for Truebase? Maybe, maybe not, right? So that's not really our focus. But we use Truebase. We leverage a lot of the data to run our motions. But Truebase, we do demos today, but it's not the way we sell. That's why I say we might not be the best user. But if your product rely on booking meetings, right, discover whatever B2B meetings to really close the sales, it's a human-bound process. Then you need something like Truebase. Truebase can help you book more demos efficiently, right? That will bring your $900 per demo to a $200 or $100 per demo, depending on your business.
Makes a ton of sense. And then I would like to touch on the point that you did for companies. What are you doing differently as a founder now that it's your fourth time doing it compared to your first times in the rodeo, basically?
Yeah. Every startup is a different beast. I think like, I don't know how much makes a difference if this is the fourth one or the first one, right? I think, actually, let me say it differently. Between the fourth one or the second one, the first-time founder is always the most challenging, right? But you get to learn a little bit, not necessarily what to do, but what to not do, right? Which is also as valuable of a learning. So a few things as a startup, I like kind of resonate with me if you think about the pattern here, that it's really always interesting to build or be passionate about an industry that you understand, right? So let's kind of, you can pick an example. Let's say you're really good in anything related to banking, right? Well, technology keep changing. So if you think like, you used to be like, in the banking business, and then the internet showed up, and now you're really good into making things online, and then mobile showed up, and now you're really able to improve the experience. And then, who else? Like whatever else showed up after that, let's say from large language models, of that, your industry knowledge is transferable across all these technology changes or paradigms, right? So you can, it's the same problem, you're solving it differently, right? So that's one thing for me, is I try to stay true to, accelerate and growing your business. That's like kind of, especially in the B2B side, right? You won't see me, if I go through all my previous startups, they were all around that space, right? So that's helpful for me to understand the space and to be innovative, or to solve it a little bit better as a founder, right? The other thing is like, you really, I'm not an economist, but you think it's like every 6 to 10 years you'll see a downturn cycle and all of that. How can you be like downturn economy proof? And that's all goes down to building basically a painkiller, not a vitamin, right? You don't want to be in a cost center where 90%, like we used to sell to recruiting and recruiting space. 90% of the cost center of the recruiting budget goes on people, right? The human who are running the process. 10% is on tooling. Where in, like, for example, sales or marketing, it's the other way around, right? 10% on people, or 90% on tooling and other budget, right? So that's, and you can correlate to revenue 1-to-1. You can say like, every dollar I spend, so that's a big deal to be in that business like that. Another thing or learning here is that you want to really have people, you need to build a product that deliver value with the least friction, right? So I was in the business where I built this incredible product, but you need to integrate that as an SDK in your mobile app, right? I'll be like, great. So I get people so excited and all of that. And then I have to map to their to their development cycle. So the product will see the light maybe in 6 to 9 months, right? Depending on the company. As a startup, 6 to 9 months, well, that could be like half of your raise, right? So you can't really get that, or even an enterprise sales and all of that. So you really want to find a way to be, to really recap this, to be downturn economy proof, not go from a cost center that's heavy on people, and to really be able to show value quickly and often in your product, right? So those are the few things, if you can, that I learned over time. But if you apply those on a high level, everything else is a different beast.
That makes a ton of sense. And I mean, we're coming close to time. So Wissam, as the most important thing in the end, where can people find you and the company online?
Yeah, I'm active on LinkedIn. So Wissam Tabbara, my first name, last name is my handle. Or you can go to truebase.io, and I'm in the About page, and I have links to all my social media, including emails as well. I'm actually, I always love to hear from everyone. Even I love to hear the critiques before that. So I'm very friendly. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Amazing. And as always, we will make sure to link everything up below. Thanks a ton for coming on today.
Thank you. That was fun, Nicholas. Nice to meet you.
If you like this episode, then you'll love the SaaS Operator, a weekly newsletter brought to you by Early Node, with actionable insights from SaaS experts in the industry delivered right to your inbox every Tuesday for free. Visit earlynote.com to subscribe.